You're listening to Who's Hot, the UKOCR podcast where Wil Chung, along with elite racers Becky, Neal, Chris Shipley, and the occasional special guest, discuss the UKOCR series and other important races in the OCR calendar to find out who's hot.
Hello and thank you for downloading the latest UKOCR Who's Hot podcast. My name is Wil Chung. I am the host and I'm here as always with my two co-hosts, elite racers, Chris Shipley and Becky Neal. Hi guys, how you doing?
What's happening?
Hello, how's it going?
Great to see you guys. And off the back of the British Champs, we're here to preview Rood Rampage, the fifth race in the UK OCR series. It's happening Sunday, the 14th of July, down in Trowbridge, Wiltshire. Not that far from Bath, Bristol, that sort of way, if you don't know your way. We are also joined by two special guests. We've got race directors of Rood Rampage. We've got Will Trippett and Barry Coombs. Hi, guys.
Hi there. Great to be here.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. So, where should we start? Becky, let's just talk about Rood Rampage. I'll tell you, actually, let's start with the winners from last year. And then we'll talk about your race, Becky, a little bit, and our fun lap we had. So in 2023, the female top three, Josie Lloyd, Federica De Carrier, and our very own Becky Neal. And in the men's, we had Dan Titcombe, Mo Maxwell, and Jason Brunnock. And I'm sure we can remember what happened there. Becky, your thoughts about 2023, really? Let's go there first.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice atmosphere. I remember everyone turning up in this field in Trowbridge, which isn't really, I haven't been to a race in that area before. I know there was a history of some races being nearby, but it happened to be 2 weeks off of the European Championships, just like we've had this year with the Nationals 2 weeks after the European Championships. And it felt like a reunion. The things that really stood out to me from that event was the people. And that wasn't just the people that we'd just been away with. It was the people who were running the event. Like I distinctly remember the MC calling out everyone's names before they'd even finished, having that, I guess there's a time sensor like they have in triathlon sometimes at the finish, which tells you who's about to finish, and that like personalized touch and a nice kind of event village, which was like not too huge, like you knew where everyone was. There was like a nice little I remember there was like a PIMS 10 or something, and it was just like a really nice kind of reunion with a nice bit of obstacle course racing in it, and having 2 laps as well, which we did last year, was really great to have, because we could kind of develop and improve on the second lap and like learn from it. But I remember it being a lot muddier as well on that second lap, that bit that went up through the trees where you popped out near the end of the lap. That was hard work on the second lap, but it was really nice to kind of come through into the event village and have a few more of the obstacles really, really back to back. Like there was actually quite a lot of position changing. I know, we can talk about that in the men at the front of the race, but also like the kind of the sort of 5th to 10th women, there was quite a lot of change in that space as well. So it was really easy to watch the finish. And I think it was just like a really nice atmosphere with everyone watching and taking part, and feeling like it was a good day out. Yeah.
And I agree, because we went out to do the fun lap, didn't we? And that muddy part was really bloody muddy by then. And it just I love it how courses evolve over time and as people are going through. And, I kind of think that at some point, maybe we should get the elite races towards the end of the day to really, get through some of that mud. Will, Barry, thank you again for jumping on. You guys are race directors of Rood Rampage. We've had a quick kind of look back at 2023. It's going to kind of happen again because you're 2 weeks out from the British Championships as well. So it's definitely going to be another reunion. But do you want to just quickly talk us through the course, how similar it might be from last year? Because we're definitely going to have some returning races. But of course, we're going to have some new races as well. So maybe just talk about the course, maybe that it's 2 laps. And let's talk about the gauntlet towards the end too.
Yeah, thanks. Well, so, in terms of the setup, village, so to speak, will be very similar to last year. the muddiness may be due to the gallons and gallons and gallons of water that was poured on the on the course from the old JCB Farm Special. And we have the same MC coming again this year. Who, I mean, he is priceless. He makes a one-time appearance for us every year at the Rood, and he really is brilliant. And I mean, the one-liners that he come out with are second to none. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, it is. I mean, I think with the thing we always do with DB Max is we pride ourselves on the whole race experience. We are a smaller company, and we show that in the sort of the personal touch. It's not just about the elites; it's about everybody. Own personal challenges, just creating that environment for all. But at the same time, we feel that we can rival any of the bigger names in terms of just what we offer in the professionalism and the way we run. Everybody, though, from the marshals through to the race directors, through to the people handing out the kids handing out the medals. It's we really do go that extra mile to make it the ultimate experience for everybody. It's and the elite racing is it's a joy. It's incredible to watch. Coming from a racing background in other areas, it's a real spectacle. In terms of the course, we do have an introduction of a new obstacle this year, which is the Torex Firefighter, which was at the championships. But I'm going to pass it. I think if I hand the baton over to Barry now, who is a sort of a serial rooder from many years, and I will pass it over to you, Barry.
Thank you. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, the course or the obstacles and course, I don't ever remember it being, considerably hilly. So I think it's generally flat, but there are a few sort of really short, steep inclines. Becky, I know you kind of said about the track at the end through the woods. That was, getting more and more boggy as the day went on. I also went out with my son in the afternoon, and that was of the bog of eternal stench. Yes, it certainly did that. And there was, forgive me, I don't exactly know the names of all of the obstacles, but where there were some tires hanging from some logs, and we had to crawl under them. And in the afternoon, it was like a small stream going through there. My son was not too happy going through there, but I made him. But yes, all of the obstacles really are, they're not the sort of standard obstacles you'll see. That a lot of them are natural obstacles. You have your A-frame, most and the balance beams going through the woods. Most it's kind of timber based obstacles, and I think we spoke off air about the inflatable one. Also, which again I'm not too sure on the name of. I'm just going to add, guys. Obviously. Cut this bit out, but this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I'm absolutely bricking it. So cut that out. So and then the pontoons through the water, I thought was great. I remember the first year that I did Rood, and they had it going through there. I think by the afternoon they were all broken apart and drifting off, and most people were just swimming through. We were all climbing out with fish hooks in our legs. I think it's a lot better now that late. But yeah, the pontoons were great fun. But yeah, as I've already said, lots of natural obstacles in a really sort of nice, sort of close environment. Nothing overly challenging, but at the same time, when you're racing, it is.
I remember the pontoons. They felt far apart, and what you really wanted was like a good run up and then like get the rhythm, like 1, 2, jump, 1, 2, jump, 1, 2, jump, and just keep going. But like you had to be a little bit tactical about it because there was quite a few races around, especially on the second lap. So it was like it was actually quite challenging in the sense that you had to be able to make the jump, and like it was slippy because obviously you're like standing on wood on water. So it was a really good challenge. Like it doesn't matter which way you look at it, it was like difficult. And that was after the seesaw wheel, which you mentioned, which that is hard. I think, you know, when I
One of
first,
your favorite obstacles, I think, Becky. You love that one, didn't you?
yeah, the first time I ever saw it, I was like, surely that's upside down. Surely that's not meant to be that way. Anyway, but getting over it kind of on your own, you have to do I don't know whether the men have this problem, but you do like a big bounce and then get your leg over and then go over the top, and then it flips you. And I remember watching Libby do it at maybe another race and getting literally catapulted off the front. And then when we did it, Will, you know, if there's other people on it with you, you can't really predict what everyone else is going to do. So you kind of want to be a little bit tactical when you're running up to that obstacle. Like, do you trust these people? Are they going to help you with it? Are they going to hinder you with it? How are you going to be more tactical or less tactical? Should you like sprint to catch up beforehand? But I literally was catapulted off the front. I did like a forward roll, classic Becky styling out of a dismount, and carried on running. But I felt quite dizzy. And then you have to jump across these pontoons and then swim. But yeah, the swim was pretty welcomed actually. I remember everyone sitting down by the lake afterwards, watching some of the other stuff, and you know, having a little swim and having a wash after all that mud in the lake. So yeah, it was really nice to kind of have that with the monkey bars there as well to watch.
It was an incredibly hot day last year as well. We like the pontoons because it gives fantastic photo opportunities for promotional purposes. But I think, in terms of just the natural obstacles as well, using the environment, and Rood Ashton Park is such a beautiful park. One of the key things is, so I was in the timing van last year, and just, standing by that timing van, all you can hear is echoes of laughter from everywhere. And it's, it's fantastic. But like Becky said, you can look at any one obstacle in isolation and think, it's in principle, it's fantastic. It's a different story when you're actually there with a number of racers and attempting to actually overcome that obstacle. That's what makes it.
There's a couple of obstacles. I think balance beams, and we know that probably made a difference in the British Championships last week. But that's always an interesting one, isn't it? And I know it's one of your favourites. Not technical in a different way, but you don't need strength, and it's just a different skill that all obstacle racers need.
I enjoyed the balance beam a lot. And last year that was sort of near the start of the race, but did we not do it in the first lap? We ran around the corner and went over the big A-frame instead, and then we did do the balance beam on the second lap, or did we do a slightly different order or something on the first lap to stop the queues? I can't remember.
No, that's right. It definitely you missed it in the first lap just to make sure that there wasn't any queues. It does come quite early on in the lap, doesn't it?
Yeah. But there was another kind of log out the back in the woods as well, which you balance on, and a few kind of gates in the way and things. And a lot of things to just disrupt your running, which is kind of classic British OCR, including quite a wonky wooden thing in the middle of that.
Oh yeah,
eternal stench. I remember that being actually more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
This is all process, Becky, because the course build actually starts on Monday. I am up there at 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
Well, maybe it's still be wonky, maybe it won't. Whatever comes our way.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think for the races, that definitely the races that have never done Rood Rampage, that are coming, who are listening to really understand what the race is about. Becky, I think you'd agree it's relatively flat, but it is a fast course. The obstacles are there that none of them are really overly technical. So it is about speed, but they will slow you down. And I think actually part of it is the number of obstacles over the lap as well starts to tie you down, but they're all slightly different. Of course, there's crawls, there's going to be carry, but the balance beam is a little bit different. People won't have seen things like the seesaw before generally, and especially not in a race environment. So there are obstacles in there that people aren't going to be quite used to. So it does make you stop and think a little bit, as well as then just putting your foot down through what is a relatively flat course.
And the series race last year, of course, we had the other event at the start of the year, which also had the seesaw. So it was actually the second time that people in the series had seen that obstacle, whereas we haven't had this year. So people who are taking part in the series this year for the first time won't have had that exposure. Whereas kind of this race last year, people already knew how to deal with that. So like it might be new for some people. But make sure you're following the signs, because I definitely saw people last year going, there's basically like a kind of like in Sparta, there's over under through at the start of the race usually. If the arrow says downwards, then you go through the hole. If it says up, you got to go over it. You can't go through the hole. Like, make sure you're actually doing the obstacle how it's intended, because they look slightly different to Spartan, obviously. Like, but they follow the arrows.
I think one of the
Good
best
follow.
indications of how fast the course is. I mean, if you look at last year's time, so Daniel Titcombe's time last year was 1:06.50. Becky, your time was 1:32.52. That's covering near on 9 miles. There are people that will go out and run that and be happy, overjoyed with those times. So you are doing it, and you are with all the obstacles. So in terms of speed, it's there, but the show of strength and agility is second to none. So, but it also makes it good for everybody as well. But the skill involved is hats off to you.
I think if you haven't already, it's worth looking, finding the Rood Rampage website. It's DB Max OCR events. The last year's map is on there, and it's not going to be too much different.
No.
And of course, I'll get Alan to share my YouTube video with Becky and Das, our media lap. So you'll see pretty much all of the obstacles there. One of my favorites, and I'll just remember this, is the Dunkin' Donuts. Remember that, Becky? How he's like jumping from the raft to raft.
That's actually a really big jump. Yeah, and I got some great photos there as well. You had a perfectly positioned photographer, which was quite fun. And there's actually quite a steep climb out of that. Through the trees, you can lose sight of the person in front of you. You can lose time on that kind of jumping in and out of the big donut thing. So there's actually quite a lot of time to gain or lose there if you're racing. Yeah.
Talking about
We have multiple photographers again, by the way.
You have
They'll
what?
all be there, and the photos are free.
Yeah, that is a USP this year.
Yeah.
Very good one,
Definitely.
yeah.
Well, let's
So
talk about
the-
let's talk about the finish and that gauntlet, Becky, because you mentioned it in the recap of 2023. One of the things that I really did like was having the announcer kind of announce names as they were coming into that gauntlet, and I saw that there was a timing map there, so the MC could see who was coming through. One, I've never seen that in an OCR before, and I think that was absolutely chef's kiss, perfect touch. But it was a brilliant gauntlet of obstacles. Again, nothing too technical, but definitely slowing people down. And Chris, I don't know whether we want to talk about the finish to the men's race last year.
Oh yeah, it was so intense. I mean, there was a few slip-ups, but the battle between Dan, Morgan, Jason, and Sam as well. Sam was in the mix. Sam Clark. We haven't seen him this much this year, but yeah, he was in the mix, and they was all battling it out. And a few guys made a few mistakes, which sort of mixed it up a bit, but it could have gone either way. And it just came down to that last obstacle with the hay bales, where Jason went to go up and then wasn't allowed to go up, where Morgan made the last pass. But there was some serious drama. But the guys were putting down some serious paces on that.
Yeah, and so it's not just hay bales, right? It's over a van.
Mm.
How high is the van?
It's
guys?
2.6 meters.
Yeah, so
So
Proper heavy van.
We needed the hay bales. But yeah, it was high octane finish, I think. It's sad that I think Sam actually got injured there and hasn't been racing since. But yeah, it was pretty intense, and there's actually quite a few other obstacles before that as well if you haven't seen any of the videos yet. Like a kind of traverse one, a bit like in Spartan. There's some other kind of high wall type things. What are they called? Finishing walls.
Yeah, so there's a real run up to the finish, and then to get over the he van.
The he van, I like that.
The he van, yeah.
And actually getting down that van is also not straightforward. You can't just jump off it unless you're some kind of parkour lunatic. You have to kind
drop
of
and roll.
Yeah,
Drop and roll.
I think I lowered myself down forwards. Yeah, covered in mud. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Barry Guy, who is a Discovery. He does like the haunted shows. He actually broke his ankle getting down. So he works for the Disney Channel basically.
Cool.
And he did the race for the first time. He broke his ankle getting down. I think he was in a bit of trouble for some while.
Not to put anyone off.
No. Well,
But yeah, like
we
in
do
that,
try and
in that
encourage
finish,
people to
when you're
lower
going
themselves
for
down.
the win.
he
When you're going for the win,
he did just jump off the top.
it's high. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I would suggest you lower yourself down off of it. Most definitely.
So, are the men allowed to use the hay bales to get up the van?
Well, I was talking with the other Will about this on Friday. Now, what I suggested and what I think we first off we will give absolute clarification of what is expected. What was the official, which I think was in the briefing, but having come from a competitive background myself, I know that race briefings, when you're there at the beginning and your mind is buzzing, all you want to do is finish. All you want to do is start, and the brain capacity is operating at a lower percentage because of the adrenaline sort of coursing through your body. It will be likely, so it will be this will be clarified next week, but 3 attempts, and then we will have the hay bales, but we will have the hay bales to one side. And then because I think last year it was that Jason went straight up the hay bales and was pulled back and then went up and over the van, but whereas Morgan, because the difference was only 3 seconds, came up straight, didn't use the hay bales, straight over the van, so giving him the advantage, which enabled him to snatch second place.
Are you guys going to sort of release a rule book, or is it literally going to be on the day where you're going to release all the sort of information and obviously on here so people can get as much sort of recon as they can?
Yeah, there'll be a full race briefing that will come out to every competitor beforehand, which will be sent to each and every competitor that they can. It will usually be done by video, and that will be sent to everybody next week. As well as then a race briefing beforehand. But on that one, I will make sure there is absolute clarification, and the likelihood is it will be me standing there. So I've got a pretty loud voice when it needs to be.
That's good, and not having too much technical obstacles means that most people should be able to follow some of the rules quite easy enough, and there shouldn't be too many mix-ups. So that's good. That makes a really good competitive race.
Yeah. It's like anything with these races. I mean, one of the things I'm doing this week is the call out for marshals. So many of these, like any event, getting the marshals are probably the most important thing of any event, and they're volunteers. And so if anybody knows any marshals, or if anybody would like to marshal, you would be welcomed with open arms.
I must say, because Becky, we did some marshalling for the kids' race at the British Championships the other day, and I tell you what, marshalling, I'm starting to realise, because I've done a few bits of marshalling this year, and I must admit, it is one of the funnest days you can have. Although you're out for quite a while, it is so fun, just giving people advice on how to get over obstacles, shouting at them. You get a bit of a god complex because you're just really giving them some grief, but it's great. If you want some power, be a marshal.
Yeah. And from a competitor's point of view, it's amazing, to have encouragement. I mean, we pride ourselves on having marshals, which we just really encourage people, because it can make the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some people
can be a little lonely at some. Yeah.
Go on, Becky.
Like OCR can be quite lonely, and you're literally overcoming obstacles, and that's something that you kind of want to reflect on or share with someone and celebrate it with. So it is nice when you get a little well done. I'm often not able to say thank you because I'm like, people describe that I heard you coming, Becky, because I'm breathing so loudly, so I can't really get the words out, but you give a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
So thank
Becky,
you.
You said about the Dunkin' Donuts going through there. Did you guys have there was a chap, Will, that is at DB Max events all the time. He just shouts support at everybody. So he's got really husky,
Shouty
deep.
Dave.
Yeah, is that what
That's his name?
Shouty Dave.
And so he was on the bank just screaming at people to climb up. He was like, "Come on!"
Yes. On the way out,
So, yeah, you're exactly right. And any kind of support that the marshals and volunteers give you know, like I say, it really does spur you on, and shouty Dave.
Yeah.
Great.
And some
Shouty
of
Dave
these,
is a living legend. We love him. But yeah,
oh,
he's just incredible. And you know, across the board, everybody, first to last. We had a big swim event, and he was there, knee deep in the water all day, encouraging people.
yeah, because some of these obstacles, like that one, the donuts, you really have to kind of psych yourself up to go for it. Like when we're running
Yeah.
competitively, we don't necessarily take a second thought, although like sometimes it does. For example, in nuclear races on the death slide, sometimes that slows people down just by committing to the obstacle. But definitely on like all of the races that are taking part, that motivation could be the difference between them actually starting the obstacle or deciding to go around it or something, and then them feeling really accomplished by that one moment in the race, and that person can really make a difference. So it's really appreciated, and also it does help with queue management of the queue if any queues are going to arise. Like just get in, have a go.
Keep them moving.
Yeah.
And Chris, I just want to say, I think you may have helped my son around the course last week.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, he was the lad that was struggling on and the British Champs race, the juniors.
On the first juniors race, the guy, he was doing so well.
Yeah, the young lad in the Spartan t-shirt. So I think you kind of coached him around. You were trying to help him on the ropes.
Oh, brilliant!
And I think
I hope he had a good time.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did enjoy it.
Good. I think I was making him run quite a bit.
Yeah. But I think there was like 4 of you in the end.
Oh, fantastic!
Getting him over the line, and he was just made up. I don't think he would have done it had it not been for those volunteers there.
Oh, brilliant! And that actually that goes to show like how good it is being a marshal, because just hearing that makes me feel really good. So
yeah,
awesome.
Good. Well, and thank you.
No, it was good to be there.
Oh, one more question before we move on. Are we actually? Sorry, I just read something in the chat. Towards firefighter rig. I'm assuming that's going to be towards the end in the gauntlet before heaven or in and around that area.
I would imagine so. Again, that's something that will have to be confirmed next week. But yeah, because of the build involved, yeah, it will be a part of the sort of the finishing spectacle, I would imagine. Yeah, just to really prepare people for the van.
It's all about the van.
Yes, seemingly so.
I mean, the Taurus firefighter is quite different from the van, so it's good to like change it up.
Yeah.
The van has certainly been, I think, at every Rood Rampage and Battle of Lansdowne that I've taken part in. So I think it's a real staple of the DB Max race there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we have a good street artist who has rebranded it for us. So.
Banksy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Southwest stereo.
If it was, you'd probably be selling it. I know I would.
Yes, we've got it behind Perspex right now.
Yeah, that's it.
So Rood Rampage is the 5th race in the UKOCR series. So I'm just going to very quickly go through the current standings. We've got the main female elite races. First place at the moment is Karen McQuarrie with 4 races, 1,835 points. Second place is Charlotte Duhani, 4 races, 1,620 points. And in third place is Federica De Caria, 3 races, 1,465 points. We've then got Debbie Love in 4th, Kerry White in 5th, Josie Lloyd in 6th, our very own Becky Neal in 7th, Tamar Barkley in 8th, Lizzie Brimacombe in 9th, and Nicola Gillespie in 10th. And in the male, we have first place Russell Walsh with 4 races, 1,780 points. Second place, Finlay Greenley for Rumble Racing, 1,560 points. And in third place, chomping at the bit, is Dascanella, 4 races, 1,530 points, only 30 points behind there. Fourth place, Dan Titcombe. In fifth place, Alex Young. 6th, Ramunas Wickes. 7th, Andy Bright. 8th, Bill Stubbs. 9th, Andrew White. And 10th is Morgan Maxwell. So all to play for. And if I just share my screen with you guys for the runners and riders. So we've got a big list here. I have already noticed last year's top 3 are already in there. Chris, do you want me to move this up and down, or are you quite happy you got it in front of you? Let's talk about the men's first.
You can move it up and down if you like, Will.
All right, okay, I will do my best.
I could actually open it up on my screen. Hang on, I'll do that.
Oh, someone has. Oh, Becky's there.
Oh,
Finley's running.
Yeah, Jason Brunner, Finley. We got Dan's going down. No Russell on this one. I know he was thinking about coming, but I think you might see him. He was trying to find some places to stay. He was bugging everyone. There's a few names. Go down a bit further, Becky, because there's a few names that Ramunis is there. Alex Young. Now, I think Alex is going to be one to watch on this one. And there's a few other. Matt Roberts is going to turn down. Reece Sanders. Let's go.
Isn't this race where Jason. Finley really kind of started showing his stuff last year?
Well, that's right.
Finley was keeping up with the French. Yeah, he was there. I think it was the speed endurance that he hadn't quite developed yet, but he's had a whole year since then, and like you said before, he's grown. So if he can have that speed again and keep it up for a bit longer and be so nimble and agile, especially through that muddy section in like the third quarter of the race, he might stay in touch a bit more.
Well, this is the sort of race where he needs to show, because he's in that sort of positions on the leaderboard where he needs these points. This one's not that heavy. The carries aren't that heavy, so he's going to be able to capitalize on that. And that boy probably is one of the fastest out there. You compare him to Jason and Dan. Yeah, he's not got the leg speed as those two, but from everyone else, he's probably the fastest out there as well. And if he gets the sort of speed that he needs to put down and goes out hot, he could just manage to keep with him. And there's nothing out there that's going to slow him down obstacle wise. So this could be the one we've been waiting for. I know we've been saying it all year, but this could be the one where Finley wins. I mean, he's got to do it at some point this year, because we've been shouting it all year, haven't we?
Chris, I mean, we'll see when you do your picks in a second. It's a really good mix of people as well. I mean, we've got 60 something through the competitive wave. Becky, let's talk about the females. And again, I actually think in this instance the female race seems to be much more competitive than the male race this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about speed for this race, right? We've just been through that. There are some short, sharp hills and some kind of really off-roady bits. But the people with the leg speed are, as we've seen recently in Spartan races, is Fede and Josie. They won this race last year, and they've won the last race in Spartan series and the UKOCR series. So I think they're the ones that are going to be battling it out. It's whether they go off together and whether Josie sticks with Fede, and then they actually push each other like we saw in Spartan recently. Josie was not so much in touch on the second race day of the weekend, but she'll be fresh for this one, and she knows the course. Not sure she's gonna definitely be there, and I'm not there either, and I was third last year. So the other kind of contenders, we've definitely got Shy. Hopefully she's feeling a bit better by the start of this race. But Pip Rainbow was actually right up there competing with Shy in the British Championships. And that was a relatively flat and fast course. Yes, there was more carries and more technical obstacles potentially. But Pip's really up for it. I think now she's back from Canada.
Not jet lag.
We've got Ruth. Yeah. Ruth Battersea, who was really kind of pleased with her performance in the kind of elite masters category. She came third in the national championships. And now people have had experience of the firefighters and everything. That's not going to be an issue. We've got Shelley Tompkins off the back of all of her marathons. She loves taking part and is got good leg speed too. I feel like she's also quite agile. She's got that ninja. She's quite kind of like she can move around. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I think she'll be up there. Also, congratulations after finishing the Tromsø Marathon in Norway. They got engaged on the finish line, her and Sam. So that's really exciting. So they were in the papers and everything. So she must be on a high right now. So I don't know whether I can see Sam's on the list as well. So maybe they're going to run around together. Who knows? But we've also got Laura Hayward, Emma McCree, who actually was second fastest if you compare the age group and elite masters women's time. She would have beaten Ruth and Lou in the national championship. So Emma is actually very fast. She's got the experience of Euros now as well. I know she doesn't really listen to the podcast, but she'll be kind of going for it, I think. And now it's a head-to-head race. She might also be racing people rather than just chasing a time and not knowing her position. So that'll be kind of interesting to see whether she can kind of capitalize on that, or whether it's like more pressure. I'm not sure how that will play out. But she hasn't been to this venue, whereas some other people have. Yes, who have I missed? Oh, we've got Dawn, of course. Dawn and Jake. I think it's actually the first time I met them in person. I said hello this time last year. Susan Jarman, who's been turning up to all the races, of course, as well. Wendy's fantastic. We'll see her out there getting all the points, more points than me, because that's for sure.
You've got to show up, though. That's the thing.
Exactly, and I'm not doing
and
that.
Wendy shows up.
Yeah.
One thing I have
always
noticed as
improving.
well, Karen isn't making her way down, but maybe she's coming down with Russell, possibly, if they do manage to get him down.
Well, she'll see.
Possibly.
Late entrance. All right, guys.
No, Russell's got his eyes on the endurance series too, though. Like, when's it too many races? When do you have to decide? When you've got in the same month as the 12-hour Europe Toughest Mudder?
That's only
maybe
that's 2 weeks. This 7-9 miles is nothing. You know, you can get back up after 2 weeks.
Warm-up
training.
I can say for Russell, he is 100% thinking about this, because he has been nagging all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, you not going down the Rood Rampage?
He's your new Bessie, mate.
What does he need? A place to stay?
What, Russell? Russell probably does. He's always looking for a place to stay.
Put him in touch with me.
Yeah,
Will T at
dbmax.co.uk.
I will do. I'll send him a message, actually. You might not be able to get rid of him, though.
Or at least the 2 weeks till he goes back up to Skipton for the 12-hour Europe Toughest Mudder.
I'll make sure he's back by then.
Chris, let's talk about your picks. Who do you think? Who do you think, men and women?
So the men, I mean, I'd be a fool not to pick Dan to win the race, and then second and third is going to be where it's going to be really at. And I'm going to say Jason Bronnock, just because the performance he had last weekend just was a standout one for me at the Spartan race. And I think just on that alone, he's just going to get my vote. But then on third place, I'm going for it. I'm going for Finley. I'll do the women as well. Or
do the women as well.
Oh.
Anyway, your mouth is Finley. I like that.
I know.
And that is kicking out. I know you're kicking out your accountability buddy, Mo Maxwell. He's probably down in fourth place now, I guess, for you. So you guys are going to be fighting it out next time you see him.
That's right. But I'll move on swiftly to the women, because it's a difficult one. So with the women, I'm going to go with Federica. Then I'm going to go Shyla. And then I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to say Emma Kirkwood. I think she's got some legs. And I think she's going to do a good performance. And everyone else is going to, she's going to be a pint-sized little whippet round this course. And I think she's going to do good.
Becky?
I mean, we keep neglecting Josie. I meant to say it before when we predicted another race. But I think we can't discount Josie at all. Like, she's either going to come first or second. I think her and Fede will have another close battle. I think Fede for first, Josie for second, then Shy for third.
I reckon you've tricked me with your notes on this paperwork, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just hovering over a cell. I didn't influence you in any way.
Becky's tricking me again on this podcast.
That was me not scrolling up
this.
and down. But you have the link to this bloody spreadsheet as well, Chris, so you can look at yourself.
You can try and trick me. Okay.
Becky, what about the men?
The men then. Okay, I also think Dan, Jason. And I do agree that Finley has a really good chance here, but to make it different, I'm gonna go for Alex Young.
Yeah, what a choice. He's gonna hit a podium this year at some point with everyone else. The way that he's performing, it's amazing. He's the only one in the family who hasn't got a podium yet, hasn't he? Apart from the Masters. He's got the Masters one, but that don't count.
He's about to be beaten by his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, thank you very much for those picks. This has been Rood Rampage. You can go to the Rood Rampage website, or you can go over to British Obstacle Sports. There's still time to sign up if you haven't already. It's £70 plus fees. I do believe if you're a British Obstacle Sports member, there is a discount as well. So go check out the Facebook page for that discount code. Sunday, the 14th of July, 8:30, I think, in the morning to start us off. Absolutely fantastic environment, and you know that finish is going to be there for such a spectacle for everybody to see. Will, Barry, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining us. Do you have any kind of final words, anything else that you want to talk about the race, just to kind of get more people interested in joining us?
Well, I do. OCR for me, I found by accident, and that was actually from doing Rood Rampage. Trowbridge is my hometown. I was trying to find something that I could get into to, keep me busy. So
keep you out of trouble.
Yes, and yeah, so I found Rood Rampage, and for me, you know, I've always talked about it, even in the years that it was paused. You know, I say it was a gateway OCR. I've heard that term used before. It made me want to do more. It made me want to get involved. And you know, even now to this day, this course, this area is my favourite. You know, I've been to Sparta. I've been at various different places to compete, but I still love this. Maybe a bit biased because it's in my hometown. But you know, and again, DB Max as organisers are great. You know, we've already spoke about the volunteers and how much they get behind you as a racer. But not only that, you know, I've volunteered when I've raced before, and you know, the volunteers that they have most of the time are lovely people, and they always come back. But yeah, it's great local OCR. I would recommend anybody that wants to get involved and do one. But not only that, you know, we have the Rood Rampage being involved in the series. For me, it's fantastic because I've got all of the, you know, the top racers, male and female, coming from all over the country to my hometown. So, you know, I get to see that, admittedly from behind them when they're racing off ahead of me. But, you know, just to have that in this town, and you know, I know a lot of guys that will be running the race either competitively or just for fun. You know, they all appreciate that as well, and they, you know, it gives it that certain amount of credibility, that, you know, the extra credibility, knowing that, you know, you've got the top guys there. I'm going to stop going on and rabbiting on that because
I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Thanks, Derek. Brilliant. Yeah, I think just from my point of view, it's you know, some of the, so we've talked obviously a lot about the elite races and the competitive races, but yeah, the thing that we've always prided ourselves on, I mean, some of the greatest feedback that we receive, and we receive often, is you know, everybody is made to feel like a winner, from the first to the last. It's, you know, the personal challenges, the team challenges, the individuals. That's the environment we create, and we're very proud of. And I think, you know, if people want to see, I mean, all of our races this year, which are all on Race Check, we've received 3 gold awards and 1 silver awards for the whole race experience. Yeah, you know, the competitive, the elites. Yeah, we love that, and it makes for an incredible spectacle. But it's for everybody. You know, this is a challenge. It's a fantastic day. It doesn't matter. It's not about, it's not always about time. It's about, and it's, as I say, it's highlighted by if you when I took a moment last year just to stand and listen, the laughter and the camaraderie, not all of it from the one-liners from the MC, that was just, yeah, is what it's all about. But yeah, I mean, DB Max hyphen OCR.events, and there's still plenty of time to enter. So
awesome. When you got guys like you, everyone's going in there, one, isn't they? I was going to say, when you got guys as passionate as you behind the scenes, you know it's going to be a good one, no matter what happens. So awesome.
I think just to add to that £70 plus fees, that does include free photos. As Becky said earlier, it's very much a USP at this moment in time. So great value for money. It's a fantastic race. Two laps. Will, Barry, thank you for your time for joining us from DB Max, who are the event organisers. You can follow them on Instagram at DB Max OCR Events. As always, thank you to my two elite racers and co-presenters. We've got Chris Shipley at Obstacle Race Dude and Becky Neal at The Runner Bean UK. For all results and everything else, please do follow at British Obstacle Sports. And of course, if you haven't already, you should be following at UKOCR on all the separate platforms. This has been the Rood Rampage preview. We will be back in a couple of weeks to recap what's been going on with the runners and riders of Rood Rampage. But until then, we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone. See you later.
Good luck, all.
And off the back of the British champs, we are here to review.
Told you to do it.
That was longer than 5 seconds, right? And off the back of the British champs, we are back to
I've been out here doing what I say is what defines you. This is our time, hands to the sky. You already know, I ain't gotta tell them why. Hands to the sky, this is our time. You already know, I ain't gotta tell them why.